Welcome to Soul Steps with Dr. Ren. I'm your heart-to-heart walking companion. These short, soulful reflections come straight from my morning devotion walks. Think of it as a chat with your bestie that feeds your mind and spirit. Walk with me or just listen and get ready to feel uplifted, informed, and inspired. Good morning, friends. Happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week, and as you can see, it is basically normal people day. For the non-early morning risers, I had a great morning already so far. I was up early, but I was kind of like putzing around, which is not typical. I think it's because of my eye. Can't tell, but it's working its way. Look at this house. Tell you about that one day. It's my neighbor's house. Anyhow, the sty has been working its way towards healing, and it is painful. And I think that's probably why I was up yet not interested in walking. So I just listened to my scriptures and stayed inside, even though it's obviously nice and warm outside. I don't even have a coat on. I do have my 2 layers on top and bottom. And so I was listening to my scripture and doing a little reading. Woke up my basketballer, who I didn't get a chance to talk to yesterday because I was out late. He was out late. And annoyed my husband, who was trying to sleep in. And, just took care of some administrative stuff for my mom and whatnot. So it's always like it's just different to walk in the daytime. But it might mean we kind of already missed sunrise. Although we might see a little display. I don't know if I can get, actually not with you, because that's about 45 minutes into my walk when I'm going to get to the other side to see the sunrise. I think that's going to happen before it's going to be already fully up by the time I get over there. So, I have so much going on. I do want to give you a word today. And I'll just, share with you Brian McLaren. I don't know if he's a priest. He's an author for sure. And he's got a podcast called Learning to See. A couple other folks on that podcast. And the first podcast was so great. I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts like regularly. I'll usually I kind of like bop around different ones. But that's one that I want to listen to. Again, he goes through all these different types of biases that keep us from being able to truly see. And by see, I mean that in the global sense of the word, not just like actual vision, but to see situations for how they are, to see people for who they are, to have wisdom, spiritual seeing, the spiritual eye. And he goes through some biases that you probably heard of, like confirmation bias, which is that we receive information that's consistent with things we already believe. We look for evidence to support things that we already believe. That's the confirmation bias. So it's like, if I believe that, short people are controlling, then I'm gonna, take in information about Napoleon, right? And I'm gonna dismiss or minimize like all the people that I knew that were short that weren't controlling. That's confirmation bias. It reinforces your belief because your brain is sort of searching for evidence that supports what it already believes. He talked about community bias, that is very hard to see things that your community doesn't accept, especially if you are within a community that has a closed borders versus permeable borders and loose ties. So if you have closed border, strong tie, community orientation, anything that's outside of your community's beliefs will be very hard for you to see. He goes on, I think there's about 12 different types of biases. There's a recency bias. He didn't put that one on there, but that's another bias, like things that you've heard of most recently. See, what are the other ones? There's a competency bias, that you think that people are just about as competent as you are. So this kind of goes both ways, but say if you don't have a lot of competency in an area, you kind of feel like, well, everyone's pretty much about as smart as I am, and so forth. So learning to see, I think it's the first podcast where he goes through all of the different biases. It's important to be aware of your biases. You can't really eliminate them a lot of the times. They are automatic. They come from core beliefs. And, your first thought is usually reflective of your past life experiences, your belief systems, your values, and so forth. But you can have a situation activate one particular value, and if you just act on that, it might place you in conflict with another set of values that were not automatically activated. So, these are all different, different ways that you can increase your flexibility, your mental flexibility, which is a great resilience strategy, to be flexible in your mind. And it will help you to see the sacredness of all things in a more expansive way. Being able to see what is sacred is a noble pursuit. So I have about 17 days left before my book signing event, which means I have probably 10 days to finish, maybe less. I'm really going to try to finish in 5 days the devotional book before I speak. I might get a good chunk of it finished today, because you have to leave time for editing, for reviewers, and for the actual process of uploading and printing. I'm probably going to print about 20 copies or so to bring to my book signing, which right now I don't have a huge amount of confirmed tickets. They're free, but I don't have that many people that have signed up for the book signing. And I don't know, people may be tired of me planning stuff, because I've planned something every month since September, October, November, December. Basically an event planner. But I believe that the Lord will make a way, and especially as we get closer to the day, and I can put out more, just more, hey, what are you doing? And there's a lot of things that weekend, December 6th, there's a lot of holiday fairs and, different things in the community. But I gotta see if there's any way I can get the actual church, which is the campus that my book signing is held on, if they can make an announcement, that would be really great. Which is another reason why I need the devotion book, because wedding planning book is fantastic. It's a great book, but it's not relevant to a lot of people, even though if you're planning anything, I think you can use the principles to make a great event. Anyhow, so yeah, you can be, I guess, since there's probably a lot of people that are going to watch this asynchronously, so I should probably have like time agnostic talking, which is not really the way I talk in the morning. So I'm going to try to be mindful of that, because you might be like listening to this and this event has long passed. This past December. Sorry. Let me just flow talk with you a little bit about just different things I'm working on, things I've been doing. I'm still working on my prayer life, working on praying with people more. So I pray individually quite a bit, but calling up people and praying with them is something that I'm expanding into. So working on that, working on incorporating written Lectio Divina, or this kind of devotional practice. I do my walking devotion, which I did a sitting devotion today inside, but I normally do a walking devotion where I listen to scriptures and listen to commentary, read different things and pray, meditate on them. But like sitting down with an actual Bible and engaging with the scriptures and going over some structured, focused scripture meditation. It's basically like the same version of what I do walking. It's just a little bit more intellectual and actively reflective. So I've been able to carve out about 15-20 minutes in my mornings, sometime midday, basically between meetings when maybe lunch break time would happen, or if a meeting gets canceled. So, and that is something I used to do. That was like how I started. And but then I needed to be more efficient with my exercise, so I combined my exercise and devotion with the walking devotion. That's how we got soul steps. And then I'm working on, there's a lot of like family activity, family focused things that are taking up a lot of my energy. So just working on being gracious and wise and engaged and available for the things that are happening within my family, my mother, my children, my husband, my siblings. There's a lot going on. So starting my days with this morning practice has been very essential to having the right mental framework. I'm just, working on that process of growth from the inside out, and then allowing the situations that come up in my life, like one where I had to advocate for my mom pretty strongly. I got righteously angry, but I didn't take it down to an extreme. So I felt like I still stayed sanctified, even though I had to, write a strongly worded letter with a deadline to make sure that my mom got what she needed. We'll see. I really, really pray that today that problem will be resolved to my satisfaction. And just investing in friendships and relationships in real time, which is, my word for 2026, this year, is all about fellowship. So, I do not have a lot more to give you. We're coming up on 15 minutes, and this might be one of those 15-minute soul steps, because honestly, I think the reason why is because there's more that I've got to pour into myself a little bit more today. So I don't have like a huge overflow. I normally have a huge overflow for you. But there's a lot that I'm pouring into myself in a lot of different areas. And I'm also gathering. So yeah, I'm in a very much a gathering phase. I won't call it a season because it's not going to last that long, I don't feel. But I just probably need to go inward a little bit more and gather some more energy, gather spiritual insights, but also I've been pouring out on individuals. So, with calling people and praying with them and really having focus, fellowship. So, sorry you guys don't have a lot of overflow to work with today, but I still hope that you have a great day and that you, as you're getting your final plans for Thanksgiving next week, that you practice a little gratitude. And yeah, preparation for gratitude. Maybe that's the theme of today. Gathering in preparation, and all the ways that you need to gather your energy to prepare to pour out from overflow. Yep, I'm leaving it with that. Remember to move your body with love and intention today. And also remember that I love you. Bye.